Hi, I'm Laura and this is my dad David, and today we're going to be doing an update on all the vegetables we've been growing. After this really hot weather, there's been a lot of growth over the last couple of weeks. So we're just going to start with the tomatoes today. As you can see, they're a lot bigger than they were when we first started. Yeah. We had the two varieties, which was
we've got Sun Cherry Premium, which is the red one, Sun Gold, and we've got them in either tubs with John in this number 3, or we've got them in grow bags with an extension, or we've just got them in a straight grow bag. And at the moment, the Sun Gold seems to be growing
definitely
best.
winning, isn't it?
It looks as though it's, and the trusses on here, well, you can see this bottom truss. This is the first truss, and there must be, what, 20 tomatoes on there? The next truss is actually split off, so there's even more on there. What I have done as well, I've cut the bottom leaves off on these tomatoes. You can see down there, I've cut off there, and that just gets more ventilation through between your plants, and it stops any bugs and mildew building up. And I think, as you'd expect, the stuff in the tubs where there's a lot more soil are growing a bit better.
So what will you do about stopping them so they're not ending up going out the ceiling?
Well, I must admit I slipped up last year and they were out the vent, so I've stopped the far ones. All I do is nip the top out of the tomato, which would just take the top out there. Once I've got probably 5 or 6 trusses of tomatoes, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 trusses on there already, so I can stop that, and then that will just help the tomatoes grow on.
Yeah. Is there anything, I know we haven't mentioned before feeding, and Dad is a bit of a feeder when it comes to his plants, so what have you been putting on the tomatoes?
Well, the truth of the matter is I've been using Tomright, which is a high potassium feed, which is I've been feeding once a week, and I've actually been watering them probably once a day in this hot weather. Yeah. It's actually got a bit of seaweed in this, it's some seaweed extract. I've also got a seaweed addition I've been popping in now and then. So I've been feeding them on a weekly basis, which I think's, well, it's been the fruits of it, because I looked at, we could do these today because I looked at Monty Don on Gardener's World on Friday, and his tomatoes looked awful, so I thought we can do one today.
So we wanted to show off a little bit, really.
Absolutely.
So, but there's plenty to show off about. They're looking really good, so I think
we're going to get a good crop of tomatoes.
And they're very tasty.
They are nice. Nothing like a fresh tomato when you come in water in the morning.
Okay, so we'll show you a few more of the vegetables.
Yeah, indeed.
Right, bit of proof they're good. We've got some of them. Is this our...
That's our Sun Gold.
Sun Gold.
Sun Cherry Premium.
Yep.
Here we go.
Oh, all in one. Perfect.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Okay, on cucumbers. This is Cucumber Bella. It's an F1 hybrid. It's an all-female variety, so every flower you get on here is actually a cucumber. I've got quite a number of cucumbers off it so far, and that's probably the last one on here. I think I've taken 6 or 7 off this plant already. I've grown it up on a single stem, which I'll stop shortly. It'll grow out side shoots, and then 2 or 3 leaves out, I'll stop the side shoots, and you'll get cucumbers growing there, and they're starting to come on here again. I think I had 1 or 2 die back, and you can see the new side shoot coming out of there. I'll get some canes across to support them, and then we'll be getting back to cucumbers. Same thing again, water every day. They like it nice and damp, and then I feed it once a week. Okay, this is just a chilli plant we're growing. It's a dwarf bush plant. It's Apache. It's called, I don't know till we try them, but I think medium hot chilies. They're just starting to grow now. We've got, well, a big crop there. I'm feeding them the same as our cucumbers and tomatoes. I'm keeping them well watered. I've done nothing else to it, just a small bush plant. You could grow up on a patio for that matter.
So this is Dad's bumper crop of onions that he's been growing. To me they look enormous, but Dad I think is still holding out for a bit more.
Oh, absolutely. I reckon you should get 4 big onions in a wheelbarrow, and that should be a good crop. They're doing quite well. I think the necks are probably too thick to be a specimen onion, but they're growing well. I'm not feeding them anymore. In about 3 weeks' time, I can bend the necks over and start to dry them off, and then really that's the important part. Then the next step is to make sure they're nice and dry before you hang them up in a garage.
Is that why you want the small head, small stem?
I think if you're going to try and show them, you want them really nice and dry. They cut them off and then they fold over the top. So you want a big onion, that big, and then a little neck on the top. That's how you do them if you're trying to make a specimen one. We'll see in about a month's time what they come out like. But
important question though, are they bigger than Trevor's?
the important question, the important answer is definitely, even with the seed I've given him, mine are still getting a bit bigger.
There you go.
That's the proof of the pudding. I'll start on here. This is just on the beans. So we've got the runner bean, which is the white one, Enoma. I don't know whether you can see
White
on
lady.
there. White lady, and that's got a bee on there on the white flowers pollinating it. So they've done quite well. The pigeons give it a bit of hammering early on, took the tops out, so they've all spread all over the place rather than growing up. But I've got them up to the top of the canes now. We spread them out, so we're hoping they'll get plenty of ventilation. And I've stopped them.
How do you get them to stop on these?
Again, I've nipped the top out.
Just nip the top.
Well, I've had to use Trevor because I couldn't reach, but we've nipped the top out.
So if you found that you think they're working better, that we've done that sort of cross rather than...
I think it's early days yet. It's,
yeah.
I mean, the secret now is once there's a crop there, I'm going to start to pick them. You know, I don't want to wait till the big and stringy. You want to pick them as soon as you can. Laura doesn't like runner beans.
I don't like runner beans.
Once
They're
you start
too
to pick
squeaky,
them,
whatever, I think.
These won't be squeaky. These will be lovely.
And then your French beans, which are your Cobra.
These are a
seem to
climbing
do quite
French
well.
bean. We've done the same as we've done with these. Climbed up the pole, are doing quite well. They've not all got all the way yet, but just about. Loads and loads of bees around just lately. And cabbage white butterflies, plenty of them. But we'll come to that in a minute, I think.
Okay.
And the sweet peas are growing up the front, just for a bit of colour. There's a
Giant bee.
Right, so we've got, just in this little bit, we've got a row of leeks which I had, they're mammoth leeks. We sure have put those in earlier on. They're growing quite well. Behind me I had a bit of a space, so I put 3 rows of seeds in there. There's Sweet William and Wallflower, in fact 2 rows of Sweet William. Because those plants, I'll be able to thin them out so there's not too many seeds. And when they've grown to that high, I can transplant them into the garden and they'll flower for next year. And this side I had a bit of a gap, so I've put in a row of sprouting broccoli. I've got them in too close and I've had them covered up, and I've just uncovered them now, and in fact, whether you can see or not, but the bindweeds got at them something terrible, so I'm going to have to pull all that out. But they're looking quite good while they're covered up. No pigeons around, we'll have to wait and see. But that'll be there for crop for next spring. Got the sweet corn here, which is growing really well, so it's putting on a lot of height, a lot of depth. It looks very strong. Got the pumpkins in front. We've got 6 plants in here. We've got too many. Laura's going to train them in a circle, as she said last time.
Yes, my plan was to trail them in a circle, but I think I may have left that a bit late. so we'll see what we can do.
I don't know if you can see, but there is plenty of flowers there. So
I'll put a close-up of the flowers so you can kind of see how it looks inside the plants, because it is just a bit of a mound at the moment. So yeah, as Dad says, we just planted too many really for the space.
So.
And then we've got the sunflowers, yeah.
So a bit of a competition here, but at the minute, Wendy's winning, which is my daughter-in-law, and she's expecting at the moment, so you'd expect that sunflower's growing for 2. And that's Alex, my son, her husband. So they're growing like mad, and it's nice to see the big heads starting to come out, the big flowers, and I'll dry them off and they'll be for birds later on.
Okay, so I think that's a bit of an update of everything we've been growing. We'll obviously keep you posted in the next couple of weeks or so.
And if you like it,
don't forget
to do whatever you've got to do.
to like, subscribe and share. See you soon.
Thank you. Right, we'll fight our way out.
Just to give you a good example of when your pumpkins can kind of get away with you. This one here has started to run, and it's literally tried to run to Trevor's, I think. So just to show you one of the flowers, can you see down here we've got the flower and the pumpkin just growing behind it. So Dad was just saying, as the weeks kind of progress and it gets a bit bigger, he'll probably put straw underneath just to take them off the ground, the same as you would with strawberries. So yeah, we'll have to try and pin this back, and hopefully I'll try and get them under control.